So the purpose of today's video is to make sure that we're providing all of our town employees with the tools that they need to gain the most benefit out of their PPE, and to make sure that the PPE is not used in any sort of a way that could contribute accidentally to further infection or spreading of the virus. So we want to make sure that all the town employees understand the do's, the don'ts, and the best practices when it comes to masks and gloves. An important point to remember when you're using a surgical mask, whether it's a cloth reusable mask or a single-use or limited-use medical-grade surgical mask, is when you handle a mask for the first time, you want to pull it apart by the white tabs on either end. You want to position the rigid component of the mask over the bridge of your nose, and you want to avoid touching the inside of the mask with your fingers as little as possible, preferably not at all. So you really want to make an effort to handle the mask from the ear loops or the band. When you go to put it over your face, again, you want to either hold it by the corners or the ear loops or the head strap. You want to put your face into it and then affix the strap or the ear loops around your ears or head. You can then adjust the rigid component of the mask so that it stays over the bridge of your nose. You also want to make sure that your chin fits snugly and securely inside the mask. Now this would be a proper fit. Then we want to take it off, it's the same procedure. We want to handle it from the ear loops or the head strap and avoid touching the mask itself. That could lead to contaminating it and just will eventually lead to it getting dirtier and shortening the lifespan of the mask. So if it's a mask like this, a similar concept, we want to grab the head strap, we want to put our chin in, place the head strap, and then adjust as needed. We want as little contact with the material of the mask as possible. Same procedure for removal. Find the strap and remove it. You can then hang this up or place it in a paper bag for safe and proper storage. When it comes to using medical style surgical gloves to protect your hands, you want the gloves to be a tool for you. You want to use them to solve a focused problem that's in front of you, whether that's handling donated food or mail, or some sort of component or piece of equipment that has been interacted with the public and you're not sure if the surface is dirty or not. All right, so we want the gloves to be a tool. They're not a second skin. They're a temporary barrier, again, while we solve that focused task that's in front of us. It's important to remember that we want to put clean hands into gloves. Once we remove them, we want to do our hand hygiene again, our proper hand washing, whether that's with soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. But we really don't want to see people using the gloves like a second skin and touching a variety of different surfaces, moving from one workspace to the next. So it's important that you identify what work processes require the use of gloves. You use the gloves in an appropriate manner to work through that process. And then when the process is done, you want to remove the gloves and perform hand hygiene. We don't want to wear gloves around the building. We don't want to take our gloved hands and contact a variety of high-use surfaces and then contaminate our workstation, contaminate doorknobs and other high-touch surfaces. We don't want to touch our cell phone or our water bottle with the same gloves we just used in our work process. So we really want to focus on using the gloves as a tool and not a substitute for proper hand hygiene. There are several methods out there to safely remove gloves. The important thing to remember is we just want to avoid contact with the exterior of the glove as much as possible. And again, recognizing the type of work that gets done in town hall and throughout most of the non-emergency services departments in town, we don't need to lose a lot of sleep over the actual steps of the technique. We just want to adhere to the principles of clean hands into the gloves, removal with as little contact with the outside of the glove as possible, and then hand hygiene after removal. If you're really worried about what you just touched, you can sanitize your gloves first. So if you have to do something, you could rub some hand sanitizer over them, and then you kind of pinch, and you always want to do it away from you. So then you take that glove that's off, kind of wrap it up in your hands, and then you grab the other one, pull it away from you, and then the only thing you're touching is the inside of the glove and everything's wrapped up. So with our hand hygiene, whether we're using soap and water or alcohol-based hand sanitizer, we want to make sure we get all the surfaces of our hands. And sometimes that's a little easier said than done. So a good technique is we want to apply an ample amount of soap or hand sanitizer. We want to start by vigorously rubbing the palms of our hands. We want to move around and get the backs of our hands. We want to make a focused effort to get our fingertips. What I'm doing is rubbing my fingertips together in the palm of my hand. And then we want to make sure we get the insides of our fingers. We want to go ahead and do this for about 20 seconds or whatever ditty or rhyme you use to remember that this is a process that can take some time to do properly. And we just want to repeat those steps with the hand sanitizer until it evaporates, or with the soap and water until we've hit our desired amount of time. And at that point we could say we've done a reasonable job at maintaining our hand hygiene. And now we want to make sure we're not touching any dirty surfaces with our clean hands.